all the देवता चित्तन करे हनुमत से सर्व सुख करे संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा ओम हनुमते नमः ओम हनुमते नमः ओम हनुमते जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव की जो शब्द पाठ पाठ कर कोई जो नहीं लगती महास कोई जो यहाँ पर हनुमान चालीसा कोई सिद्धि साधी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय दुर्जय महादेवा की जय दुर्जय महादेवा ओम हनुमते नमः ओम हनुमते नमः ओम हनुमते नमः ओम हनुमते नमः जय जय मंगलमूर्ति राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसो सुरभूप सियावर चंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय. So today we are going to be looking at the pages of the Bhagavad Gita. But before we do so, we just have one short chapter. And we are looking at chapter 4 of the Bhagavad Gita. Though it does not directly deal with the situation at hand, we will be extrapolating some ideas that will allow us to reflect on it. First, I want to see how difficult I know it is with family. Recently, I was telling Kwantiji that my mother got sick on Hanuman Jayanti day, or the day before Hanuman Jayanti. And even while the whole prayer was going on, the only thing I could think about was my mother sick. When I could, how fast I could finish this prayer and go home. And so even during the prayers also, it was difficult. And we studying this thing every day. We know, because how many of these things we go to also. I was telling somebody that in my childhood means I'm still young, but in my childhood, look how we watch me when I say I'm still young. If I don't give you give me the doubt. Yeah, so when it is, I sure in my childhood I attended probably about 150 funerals. Because in the village temple is there, and the village temple, when somebody died, they call it during the funeral, the night before, the nights after. So for me, I have always been very much aware that just like how the sun rises in the morning and it sets in the evening time, that death is a part of life. And most times when I speak on death because it's hard, but it's something that will come only. It's one of the one things in life that we inevitably, and especially in this kind of time we live in, Jairam today talk to somebody, tomorrow you don't know. I went home for Mother's Day and I told her, Mother, I said, well, I hope I see you next week. She said, we're talking. I tell my younger brother, right? I said, you could carry a laptop in quarantine. He said, what are you going on with you, man? I said, just in case you don't know. But really, life is uncertain, and this is a very clear example of life being uncertain. And it doesn't make it any easier, or any punch coming on the road, that sometimes we philosophize these things. I say you should know that one should not, chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita says one shouldn't grieve for the living or dead. When somebody has lived with you for a long period of time, and you have shared, and you have cared, and they have done everything for you. And I tell you, there's going to be anything right by one experience. My grandmother till now, I feel kurta when my grandmother I am. My grandmother and kurta for me for the last 15 years, at least. Since I come back from India, she am in kurta. You could imagine I'm kurta. And sometimes as woman has tested out still. I say, oh God, I feel it with some price. The scene, if it goes still, it will still work. And it's still okay. So, and that's one of the other things also in a close-knit society that we live. And I sent a message to some people from Mother's Day in a temple chapters there. And I said, we are a rare group of people that still have several mothers that we can count on when we need support. And people don't live like that anymore. And it's very good that this family has a very large support system that you can. So if you know if you need to make something and you forget how to make it, you can call somebody. I still remember my brother when he went to university and he tried to make something, he called over and actually how to make it. As a regular thing only. When you're trying to make something and you can't remember. But for the children of this home, and I tell you one thing, right? Even the Sadgurus and then those who have realized the absolute reality behind universe, that's what we're talking about today, right? They said two pictures should be there. One of the Ishtadevta, which is the deity you love the most. Whether it's Hanuman, whether it's Krishna, with nine, that's singing at the left hand. I started left there, right? But your Ishtadevta, whether it's Hanuman, Durga, whatever, you have that one picture there and you have a picture of your parents. Because the influence of your parents in your life, right? Must never be forgotten. It's a very honorable thing to have a parent, and especially in our tradition. Our tradition, where your parent kills you with love only. Let me tell you, another can do what I tell you. When it is that anybody give me trouble in the temple and thing, right? And I go meeting and thing, and I find people like me too much trouble and thing. I go and I tell my mother, and she say, cool yourself now, but I will be playing, relax yourself. And then I relax myself only. My younger brother, right? If I tell you something, even come back and complain to me, you want to complain to some elder in the family, and then go come back and tell me. So we have a very good support system within Hinduism. And because birth alone doesn't make somebody your child, very important to remember. In the situation with Kauravas and the Pandavas, right, who were cousins, right, they were supposed to live like brothers. For instance, he and Adishesh had to live like brothers. And live like brothers means to say when they're fighting also, you leave them let them fight also. Fighting is expected only. Like you see how we just tell him about the punch yesterday, just before he come and sit down. And he say, where are getting that from? That's expected only, you have to leave them. The Baba should get in between their parallel. Because the bonds of family, next to God, right? The bonds of family is one of the most important bonds that you could ever have. Whenever you lose, I tell you how strong this is. Eh? If you lose faith in God, I was telling Janetta in the school that day, but she was telling me always she cook. She's normally updating on a Monday morning when she cook on a Sunday. And some of the things I can't tell you because, fasting done for most people. So she tell me what she curry and she tell me what she stew and whatever as the case may be, right? Not soya and thing we're talking about, and not lentil and thing we're talking about. But she was talking about how many people don't have a job in that home, but they have one thing, they have unity. And I tell you, a house with unity is a house built of love. You don't need anything else. See, I also, I don't know why Mother's Day is one of those things that I speak on very, I write on, not speak on, but I write and I send messages. And I say there's one word that mothers represent is love. And if the children of this home have to go with one thing throughout their life, a mother's love doesn't end. A mother's love is eternal. You close your eyes and you take the blessings of your mother. In Kavi Kushi Kavi Gam, that is there. When he is going to play cricket, and his elder brother is telling him that just anytime you have any problems, and this is not just to see what comes in a form of mother. To have a mother figure in your life is the greatest blessing. And especially to give you that type of love. We join in this next chant and we ask that the grace of the Divine Mother, Gurama, be there with your mother wherever she is. And may your love always flow towards that Jiva. That Jiva, idea we will see as we go along. Jiva means an individual soul. So she came as a soul, she acted in a particular way for a length of time, and now she has to move on. And this process is to allow her to move on and allow us to move on. And don't feel guilty in moving on. In moving on is just placing in a different way in the center of your heart and moving on. I'm firm belief that if you want to become the most spiritual person, every morning you get up and you think about one of your ancestors. whether it be mother, whether it be father, whether it be uncle, whether it be whoever. Because we have come from our society, our ancestors have lived good lives. Very good lives. You think of one of them and you say, God, you alone, and this is a conversation you're having with God, whether it is in Sanskrit, Hindi, whatever. You alone have come in the form of this person. Thank you for coming into my life. May I learn the lessons and may that person be eternally blessed. And before I go, because I'm not going to speak on the concept of life and death directly in the lecture, that's why I'm saying what I have to say in that regard now. The head of Chinmaya Mission, which is about 300 centers worldwide, right? Last year, he released something on the importance of Shraddha. Shraddha means you do whatever you have to do for your ancestors that have gone by. And imagine a monk that would have left his family and home, I think, right? About 40 years back, is speaking about one should never forget to do their yearly Shraddha. As a Hindu, is one of the greatest privileges that you could ever do. And there's something about that, right? So it's not mystical, but you always come back into the family in which you were born, once your connections are strong. So when you're offering, right, for the ancestors, right, you can't really say you will come back and enjoy some of the benefits of that because your father may come back in that same family, he may come back as your son, he may come back as your sister, he may come back as your mother as well. But our prayer is not for their coming back. Our prayer is for their liberation, which we will see a little bit about afterwards as well. Let's join a little bit in. Rama Sita, Krishna Radha, Vitala Kumari, Jaya Jaya, Vitala Kumari. To the name of Rama, the and realization so that Jiva will be Rama Sita, Krishna Radha, Vitala Kumari, Jaya Jaya, Vitala Kumari. Rama Sita, Krishna Radha, Vitala Kumari, Jaya Jaya, Vitala Kumari. Rama Sita, Krishna Radha, Vitala Kumari, Jaya Jaya, Vitala Kumari. Vitala, 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 Rama Sita, Krishna Radha, Vitala Kumari, Jaya Jaya, Vitala Kumari. Vitala, 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 Panduranga, 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 Vitala, Panduranga, 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 Vitala, 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 Rama Sita, Krishna Radha, Vitala Kumari, Jaya Jaya, Vitala Kumari. Rama Sita, Krishna Radha, Vitala Kumari, Jaya Jaya, Vitala Kumari. Vitala Bhagwan Ki Jai. So we are seeing chapter 4 of the Bhagavad Gita, and it starts with, because we have insurance for this year, we'll skip the verses, and then we'll see what it says. My intention is to see the 10 verses of chapter 4 of the Bhagavad Gita. So it will be done touching on one point and then going ahead. So they are not No. I can see he started back there. Right? How many chapters in the Bhagavad Gita are there? Anybody can tell me? Option A, multiple choice. Option A, 9. Option B, 18. The drama, you just hit the thousand period. Option C, 7. Option D, 27. I can't even remember the options that people have. Anybody have an idea? So there are 18 chapters in the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita was spoken by whom to who? Anybody? By Hanumanji to Lord Ram. Option A. You see, the problem, I have to write down some of the options because never tell you, right? When I set an exam, I put something and I put false, right? And then when I remember now, I even put the wrong answer also. Because I'm trying to trick the trend. I write not go to trick trend. I go put right that Ram was not a good person. And then I'll put, instead of putting false as the answer, I go put true only. And then because you see how karma speak up with you, right? I trying to fool the chair. And what happened now? I had to go back now and check all of them papers and give them back the right mark because I put the wrong answer. So that's the wrong answer. So sometimes that's why it's good to be straightforward also. And one of the best texts speak very clearly on any issue is the Bhagavad Gita. Means, and one of the things about the Bhagavad Gita is any particular branch of Hinduism you belong to, the Shakta sect, which means you worship Devi, the Shiva sect, you worship Shiva, whether it is that you worship Hanumanji, whether you worship Lord Ram, whether it is that you are what they call Vedic, you do have one only. Any sect you are, you turn to the Bhagavad Gita, any page, and you can find some hope and some reverence for life. So the first verse of chapter 4 of the Bhagavad Gita goes like this. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ima Visvasate Yoga, Yoga Vahana Vivasvana Viprana, Madhuri Shakari Pari, Hari Rama, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Ima Visvasate Yoga, Yoga Vahana Vivasvana Viprana, Madhuri Shakari Pari, Hari Rama, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Sri Krishna is saying, right? Sri Bhagavan Raja. This is traditionally how it's sung. Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavanaham Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Manu Ikshvakave Pravit. So the sun god, I thought this Sri Krishna himself is saying, right? He's talking in the battlefield. Arjuna is there. He has the arrow, the bow in his hand, the bow and arrow in his hand. The bow and arrow fell down because Arjuna is sorrowful. He doesn't want to fight. So it's a real situation. Imagine it is that you go now to fly to the United States, and the pilot in the plane sit down, and he sit down in the lounge area and say, "I really don't want to go and fly that plane. Me feel in the mood." So it's a serious matter only. Right? So there's the same thing going on here with Arjuna, right? Imagine, I don't use people's name. Imagine the High Commissioner of Trinidad and Tobago say, see me, let them do what they want, me want to do that. Or the person in prison. Or let me say, the person who's the head surgeon in the hospital. You say, oh, somebody's sick, but I don't know what to do. It's the same situation here. Arjuna was the best warrior of his time. Arjuna, anybody tell Arjuna anything, Arjuna was saying, let me fight now. There's Arjuna. And now, Arjuna doesn't want to fight. And what he's being told here, he said, the Lord is telling him, he said, the same knowledge that I'm giving you now. And this is very instructive because the Lord says, I gave this knowledge. So why does you sit down behind a Ramayana, you sit down behind a Bhagavatam, you sit down behind the Bhagavad Gita, you just remember, even if you don't like fill that token also, right? You remember that whatever is being said is God's words. Very important. And sometimes we also as Baba something like when people talking, I think in the audience, sometimes we real compassionate, but sometimes we give them a piece of mind too. Because when they disrespect, right? When they talking and they walking and they doing what they want, they disrespecting not only you, they disrespecting your teacher. So I would see many people, you see all the learn already, close the book, you see Jerry Fura, but people can go halfway the kata only. And he write only. Because scriptures must only be spoken when somebody is interested. Baba may have 200-300 disciples, but if nobody come and ask him nothing, he said, don't write anything on it. You're telling him the one thing. Now Raja may come and go, let come and go, because you don't want to know. So what this is saying here, Shri Krishna is saying, I gave the same knowledge to Vivaswan, the sun god. So you know one thing with that? When we stand up in front of the altar, right? And we have a logo in the hand, we bring the Surya. We ask Surya, what is the knowledge behind the whole universe that make me happy? So, as time goes along, after taking days and everything, we'll continue offering that. And when you go in front of that Surya Bhagavan, you say, Surya Bhagavan, give me the knowledge to understand what I'm going through. And I tell you, this knowledge to understand what you're going through is not an easy thing. Because to understand what we're going through right now as a world population is difficult. Because everywhere around you, you're seeing things that are not easy to digest. Father and son who died the same time also, somewhere down in South as the case maybe. The whole family has COVID. Let me tell you, right? Why it is difficult to understand is because we can't see things from the level of there's a different level to see from. For instance, right, when you go to take an X-ray, right? And when you go to take an X-ray, and the person takes the X-ray, right? I remember, and I will break up myself. I fall off a truck. I tried to cross the highway, all that kind of thing, right? Chase Village, I tried to cross the highway, the man bounced me. I still live. Whenever I talk about that, Swamiji says, you really didn't mean to die. I said, no, well, there is no one dying yet. But when a doctor takes off the X-ray, right, or MRI, he can see things that we can't see. And similarly, there are things in the universe that we are not seeing. And that's why we can't understand it. But there's a possibility to see also, but just we don't have the vision to see it. It's like somebody who has, which one is cartoon characters are X-ray vision? Which one of them animated characters or Superman? You could see behind, Flash could see behind, no, I don't think so. The idea is that we have 5 senses, the 6th sense we do not possess, so we can't see, like, okay, so sometimes, I don't want to say now, what I have to say, but before the country was locked down, there were some business places that know it was locked down, right? And then was able to have offers selling things before. And I had a big line until 10 11 of midnight. Because I said, I'm only saying and I can't tell you what I want to tell you, right? But they should know what I'm talking about, right? Because they had prior knowledge. And what happens is that God has prior knowledge of his jiva. Meaning the person that come into this house, the length of time he coming in the house. Then one interesting thing, Swamiji's brother celebrated his 50th birthday, right? His mother came from the States. They live in Dow Village, not too close from where Panditji lives, right? Maybe about 10 minutes. And the mother was packing to go back to Canada the next day. And the brothers and them, they went to Swamiji's sister and them, they had some house where they have a pool or something. So they went there. And they come back home. And everybody going upstairs to check the mother. Like, oh, there's an upstairs house here. The boy living downstairs there somewhere by where the swing is under there somewhere. And everybody going upstairs. And when they're going upstairs, they're calling out the son and they're going upstairs. And they come back down. After a while, they find me inside. They said, that fella lazy boy, he's sleeping. But that fella eat lunch or whatever, he lay down on their bed and jay down, that was it. So, and when Swamiji came and he was speaking to his mother in night time, he told his mother something very interesting. He said that child only was allotted in this life 50 years and not one day more. Not one day more. So he had to go. Here, the other side of this, the ashram, we're staying in Makbi here, right? Sometime in December. December or January, we get robbed, right? Bandits coming to check them out, man. They look like they're masked up for COVID only. You can't even see, when I see that thing, I see them in Wuhan, China. Because you can't even see the color of the skin, nothing. You can't see, only the eyeballs are seen. You can't even see if they're Indian, African, whatever it is. And they're wearing boots and everything, right? So, when Swamiji Mora hear about it, because after she go here, right? Because it posted up on all social media. Yeah, she responds to him, man. He said, in the world, there are two kind of people, right or wrong. She put him in class now. She said, in the world, there are two kind of people, right or wrong. She said, yeah, it have good people and it have not so good people. She said, and you is teach, right? That you need both of the people them to survive in the world. He said, yeah. He said, so them have to make a living, you have to make a living. Them do what them do, and you gotta do what you gotta do. So you enter itself as teach that and she done. And very true only. So yesterday, one of my telling what it's sad that whatever happened in the world. She says, so what about karma in this whole thing? I stay quiet, I put on a question, I sit my question. And we quiet. Because sometimes they only, and what happens is sometimes you forget. I telling you, right? Honest to God, if something happens to my mother tomorrow, for 3 days straight I cry. Because my mother is my mother for me. When I want to complain about anything, is my mother only I complain to. Complain to my mother about my mother only. And she go hear me only. And you just say, yeah, nah, you talk. Whoever sent it for me, she famous line. Whoever sent it for me, tell them, yeah, meet them, and you settle on yourself. See, for a child in a home, the comfort is always in mother. And even, and that's why I make one statement, your mother never leaves. Vivaswan gave this knowledge to Manu. Manu gave it to Ishvaku. Ishvaku then passed on the same knowledge. And this is very important that whatever we have, whatever life lessons we have learned, sit down a little bit and tell them stories. Tell each other about what you learn. Good and bad also. Why hide? Look, when I teach children values, right? I teach children in school. And one thing I always tell children, I don't have the moral authority to talk about health because me take care of my health as I should. Running from Satsang here, eating 2 pounds a week, going here, eating 11 o'clock in the night, going to sleep. But one of the things is that knowledge cannot really be given from external to the family. They may add something to what you already know. So if you go to a satsang, right, and the Baba says something, but if there's not an appreciation for that in your family circle, it doesn't catch. You go stay with you one day. By the time you go to sleep and get up the next morning and go on. So the family circle is a very important thing. So Vivaswan gave it to Manu, Manu gave it to Ishvaku, and Ishvaku passed it on from there. Ishvaku is an ancestor of Lord Ram. So the same knowledge that was given to Surya Bhagwan, and Surya Bhagwan passed it on to his disciples. And that's another thing. Surya Bhagwan has the knowledge, his disciple was Hanuman. So if you want to find out what is the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, say Hanuman, when you start in front of Hanuman, you just give me the idea of how, and it can be certain knowledge, how I should interact with the world, what I should know, what I should forget. Somebody do me something wrong, forget it now. Forget it, and that's an easy thing. It's an easy thing to say. It's not an easy thing to do. A man sell me a car, right? And that is first car, right? And I go on by the man to fix a fan belt. But the man don't fix fan belt, he's fix air condition. Right? But somebody send me by the man. And ever so often, right? Not regular. Living in the village by me, I hope you never hear about this, right? Living in the village by me. Once in every 2-3 years, when I pass the house, I say, yeah, well, you really fix that thing for me. Me had the car, sell the car. Because I was 15 years now, right? But I still remember in the back of my mind, that fella, you old smart, right? I forgive him, but you old smart man anyway. And one of the most important things for us to do is to forget things. So, remembering is a blessing, and forgetting also is a blessing. So, one of the things that we need to remember is remember all the values that would have been taught. And those are what you're giving your children. And too often I find that people don't sit down and talk to their children about their grandfather, their great grandfather, their great great grandfather. And stories are what they used to do. Nothing is wrong. Just like who tells stories. Let me tell you, one story passed on Facebook and everybody sharing it. Sharing for days also, liking, tagging, wanting the Prime Minister say, and everybody making memes and all of that on it. Why not share the stories of great strength? Share the stories of what you admire about the person. Remember, somebody comes into our life to teach us a lesson or to give us. Teach us means we look at their life and we learn something, or either to make us experience something. Even the person that gave you a bad drive on the road, he did teach you something. The fella that called you ugly, he did teach you something. You have to watch in your eyes and say, boy, I really ugly. Or maybe that fella looked like he had to check his glasses or something. He had to go to. No, one of the things is that we need to internalize things. So, the discussion is now knowledge was given by one person to the next person. He passed it on to his son. What is the knowledge behind the entire universe? What is the knowledge we should know to make us happy? And Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chit Ananda Swarupa. Chit means I am consciousness. So I am not this physical world. Recently I was messaging, because you can't meet nobody, so anytime I get a chance and I talk come across my mind, I message. I feel people just block me just now from WhatsApp. This pandemic continue. Right? So I was thinking that the body really is only a means to interact with the world. But at some point in time, the body itself needs to be transcended. And I'll tell you, right, it's very easy to figure this out. When you're sitting amongst a group of friends and you're talking about something and you're enjoying yourself, let me say even playing a game of cards, you don't remember your body. If you're watching a good movie, you don't remember your body. If it is you sleep and you get up, the first thing when you get up, you don't think about your body. So there are states of being where the body becomes secondary to some higher thought. If you have a great amount of joy, you don't think about your body also. So transcending the body is an important thing. And the purpose of this birth is to realize that you are not the body. And you are consciousness. So there's something in this being that has lived for thousands of years. Something inside you. We call Jiva, we call it Atma, we call it self, right? And this, why my experience and Pandit's experience may be different in one particular circumstance, is Pandit has brought with him various memories of the past. And because he has that memory, he perceives, for instance, when I see a dog, right? I say Jai Sri Ram, and I go my way, right? When he see a dog, right? He has a different feeling of it. When he wait for it again, he type of dog? Husky, sorry. Not type of dog, we can't call a dog, a husky dog. That's a disrespectfully husky. When he sees a husky, right? He has a different type of emotion in him rising. When I see a husky, Jai Sri Ram, and I go on my way, right? Because something in my genetics or something in my thought patterns have never brought me close to animals. We have some brahmacharis in that ashram. If you're here, they have kittens, I don't know. They have about 50 dogs from in the ashram society. There is people drop them off and there's enter the gate and all the brahmachari them keep them and buy milk and whatever for them. And what happened right outside my door is come and lie down and don't want to move. Sometimes I walk out of my door, they'll want to go clean and I step on one of them, they scream. And then even though when this morning they come and they rub, I said, go rub up on me now, man. Me, I have nothing with you. I don't want nothing with you. I said, give me a chance. Now. Because it's just that I'm not wild. I don't have anything against the animal, right? But I just not wild to have, I see you jumping up on me and I say, okay, right, good, good. You keep a distance, I keep my distance. And look, from a simple thing, right? I have a different disposition with animals. I could hardly take care of myself much to take care of animals. So the thing about it is that there are people who are wild to do those things. And why that is so is because that has come from a generation of, for instance, right? I go ahead, I say it in Esperanto. When Narayan singing one side and the Patsy singing one side and they play nice harmonium one side, I go in the next side. Because I just not wired when a bar pick up with me. And I started, Jay Ram, I'll be Hanuman actually just now do I change a little tune there. I say, let's go say crazy. And then I remember I had this guy here who is banting. You say, but I remember it's been doing for you. But one of the things I'm trying to bring across here is that we are all wired differently. And the reason we are wired differently is because we are bringing impressions from various lifetimes. So sometimes if husband and wife may live together and you change your whole life to change that fella. You're telling him, oh God, put your socks in the basket, put your socks in the basket. The fella never put your socks in the basket. Anything you tell him, okay, when you cook it, cut out the carrot first square and the fella only wants to cut it like a rectangle. After a while, you see you do your one now, come when you finish, and then you cut it back only. And these are little things we're talking about, like for instance, there's somebody I know that he and his mother doesn't see eye to eye for nothing. And all the satsang and all everything, when you go see eye to eye, if anything them could fight about, you put anything in front of them, they fight. So there has to be some karma that they need to work out. And that's why it's important to try to work out your karma with people. Don't try to create karma, but try to find some middle ground also. And that's why it says when somebody leaves, we shouldn't grieve also. Because what happens is if we grieve, we hold back that person also. If we have any unsettled issues, normally they say forgive your person for it. And then they go their way. And so what the next verse of the Bhagavad Gita, this book too big. I'm gonna take this smaller Bhagavad Gita because it's in trouble. Right? So second verse, it says that this was given, first verse said, this was given to Vivasvan gave it to Manu gave it to Ishvaku, and then let's see what happens next. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Evam Para Prabhu, Evam Rajashayo Vidu, Sakale Menamahata, Yogo Nashta Parantapa, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Evam Parampara Praptam, Imam Rajarsiyo Vidu. There was a tradition of handing on things from a father to a son. And I tell you one thing, if something comes in our family, right, and you allow it to leave the family, path is there. We must never allow the skill sets that are given from one family, from one generation to another generation to be lost. Very important. Let me use an example now, modern day example. If it is that one only know to make a good, let's say big bread because we carry nothing else except some big bread, right? If we know to make a good big bread, right? And then all the go teach the children to make the big bread. And then they go and buy kiss bread with glass something in it. Disclaimer with me, but sure, what I said I didn't use before. So one of the things is that we have to make sure that whatever we learn, we pass on. And at least to your own family members. And many people are selfish with their knowledge. You have to share what you know. Either you use it or you lose it or you. So, and this tradition is the greatest. This is the only tradition where the guru is teaching every single thing from where his father teach him, his grandfather teach him, the old one they teach him, where he figure out on the way also for your own peace of mind. So, one of the things that needs to be pointed out, knowledge is sacred. So, whenever you get the opportunity, even to study, I was telling Auntie Baxi recently, I go home sometimes, my mother telling me what this pundit say and what that pundit say and all that. And I just sit down and listen to she, what else I will do? And she telling me, she questioning me also. She asked me if I ever studied this katan, that katan, it had this way to look at this katan. She telling me Kiki wasn't a bad lady. She telling me there was another story where Kiki was actually, Kiki, when Dashrath wanted to marry Kiki, right? Kiki's father had asked that the son of Kiki becomes the next king. So this whole drama, Kiki sending around to the forest, two of them sitting on the planet out. And she telling me also in Anand and Rama, I know wherever it is to be found. I said, wait, I said, it's best you want to do left here. She said, no, you want to. I can sit down and teach you. See, and every person's karma is different. Very important to understand. And one, we have had many lifetimes. Two, knowledge, wherever it comes from, should be revered. So, when the Baba tell you, you have many lifetimes, okay. When the Baba tell you that if you don't be careful, you're coming back again. When the Baba tell you it's important to do the Pinda Dan in this particular way, the Shroud in this particular way, the satsangs on this particular night, all those things are important because, and the next line of this says it very nicely, which we sung already. Sakalini Hamahata Yogo Neshta Parantapa. After time, right? What happens? Forgetfulness sets in. We forget. And Swamiji said an interesting thing one time that stayed with me, right? He said he must be, I think 55, 56, right? And he was saying, he said, it had one time that I could try to recall a verse and I will be able to recall it. Or are we trying to teach something and it didn't come? And I never thought about it. I've been with him about 10 years, right? So I never thought about a time will come because we know him as a scholar in scriptures and very versed, right? He said, but there will be a time that I will be trying to remember something in scriptures and it just went through. And in all of our lives only, the time will come. Let me tell you, I will tell you that secret. Well, I can't remind me because I will be bad afterwards. I seen a gray hair a good little while, right? Somewhere in my chest. Say, ay, boy. One gray hair, then no more. Me, when this pandemic started, no more gray hairs started come out. I don't know if pandemic and gray hair come together. When I watch my face, right? I say, wait now. Look at the amount of gray hair I have. And I'm telling somebody, I say, look at gray hair. You say, you have to use that as a baba. You say, since young I'm in this thing, watch my gray hair. But gray hair means to say I have some yarn around a long time. But gray hair is actually, right? Emails, messages from God. Don't mind if you are seeing plenty people because they'll go on, when they go by the hairdresser, they do what they do. Right? They dye in it or put in all kind of different color and thing. But let me tell you, right? Imagine if I try to dye my beard, right? And you're seeing white stuffs coming out from inside. I take a look around. So there's a nice book. I went into the office books so when I see gracefully aging. That's an important thing. Let me tell you, right? I have to tell people from scriptures. They say once you reach 50 years, you have to start looking for God. More. You have to look at your whole life, eh? But once you reach 50, there's another thing there. It's still a little bit. They say from the days your grandchild face. Grandchild. Well, they will get some time because some of their young children, they take a while to get grandchildren. They say once you see grandchildren, you're supposed to realize that the life is in a different direction. Reason being, right, is when you're sick, you can't remember what is it. Or Brahmachari Vijay had done a satsang somewhere in exchange, and he go to a punch. That's a good fella to have in a satsang. He come 20 minutes time, he say, all right, devotees, I've told you enough. You go man, you meditate on what I've told you now. Sit down. 20 minutes. Never tell that you. Already can go and tell them. You put them through a meditation class, right? In meditation classes, half an hour. 45 minutes of meditation classes. You sit down for 10 minutes, right? Imagine everybody like him. This is second meditation camp we had last month in the ashram, right? People come and stay for 15 days. Meditation camp going on. They said they want him to do a session. Well, you see, they asked me to do, but honestly, when I speak on scriptures, I take about 3 days to immerse myself in the topic and feel the character and all that, and then speak. Right? So there was 2 short notes for me to do. Mr. Man going in the room, 45-minute session. After 8 minutes, he come back out. I said, wow, man. He says, everything I'm going to teach them. He said, when you're going to drive, and we'll teach you, do other things, and you're going to on your road. So he said, tell them, right? Here we tell them. He said, but again, well, there are a few ideas. Well, everybody else teaching how to meditate, so I'm going to meditate. No. But here's a point also. If you take 1 or 2 things, and you go with that, you can live your life peacefully. And how much of the scriptures our ancestors knew? But when they hold on to something, brother, they hold on. There are some people, like my grandmother right now, right? She has some spine injury or something, my mother's mother. And that lady will go in the puja room. I said, well, just go on like Mother's Day, I was there, right? I said, Bole, like the day, she said, I'm going. Right, so she go on inside it. Where to look for she now? Because she just go on to like the day. But when she has a serious problem. You have to buy at least a liter oil for she. Because she had 2 Ganesh like the for. When she had one murti, she liked it for all of them. When you open that puja room, you could swear Diwali going on inside you. But that's what she do. It do all how you could tell she right. Like one Diana Baba, not she Baba. She liked it every day I have. And then she will come and she will say, son, I finish and you go and pray. But she held on to that properly. I'll tell you, and I tell Monica also, she's the hardest person to do prayers for. Because I could tell she what to do, right? She could do what I tell she to do. And she could go back and do what she wants to do after. And that is one of the things you have to hold on to something. Whether it's japa, Om Namah Shivaya, whether it's listening to the Bible in the morning, whether it's offering a dar, whether it's doing a yearly prayers, whatever it is, and hold on to that. One of the things that I have fallen to in my own sadhana is that I have had some very good teachers. Teachers who want nothing. They just teach and they walk out. They want to see it, they want to hear what you afterwards, if you come to call them, tell them, they will tell you, leave me alone only. You have space now, oh God. That is what they will tell you. And that's the true idea of knowledge also. And the Bhagavad Gita continues to say, so firstly, this knowledge was given first time. Or they tell them what to stop now. For example, when you get on mic, watch me only 10 minutes again to stop. 10 minutes past 8. We reach verse 2. We're going to 10. Alright, say Eva Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Sadivaya Yoga Kota Purana Tapusi Sakati Rahasya Nikuru Tama Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Shri Krishna is saying that the same knowledge that I gave to Vivaswan and I gave to Manu and Manu gave it to Ishraku and a long line of kings, the kings had the knowledge and the kings gave it to their own sons also. But it has been lost because with time things become lost. So that's why we need to so often, not every week, but ever so often, to go to our satsang to hear what the Baba is saying, invite. And there's one of the other things there. We do invite the Baba home and Nikal Sararoti and the Watu Shukla and Pradu wants to talk to him a little bit, We do that. Because how are you going to, alright, do invite the Baba home. You call the Baba, well in this case you have Baba home, so I tell you call the Baba and then you come to cook something. and sit down with the Baba and talk about things that are life changing, things that are important to life. For instance, where I come from. What do you mean, I come from Esperanza? I mean, before that, where are going? After, you can't go for source levels because levels go down. I mean, when you're going to leave here, what is the purpose of my life? Eat, drink, be merry, but then what? What about when it is you reach 70, 75 years old and your body can't move? Let me tell you, when it is again cool and I could tell you what I know. Only I had to check no mental office or nothing, Because I could tell a little bone pain and thing I could tell you when rain coming. But then what is the purpose of this body? What's the real purpose? I mean, yes, you have children, you have your job, you have everything. But what's the purpose? Are you more peaceful today than when you started this whole thing? And that's a very important. Every festival I ask myself this question. Say Ram Navami coming up. I say, but I spend more time with Ram this year than I spent last year. Or Hanumanji. Or if it is that I'm coming to, for instance, right today, I sit down there just with what it says. And I will say, do I feel the words of the scriptures anymore than the last time I spoke on this thing? Do I live what I speak? When we were children, one day guy in the temple told us a nice thing. He said, well, you know what are the benefits of being a vegetarian? He said, at any point in time, you could walk in the temple and light a diya. And any time, at point in time, you could probably a Ramayana and read a sloka. And one of the points, and this morning was messaging again. I look out and look him all in number. Because it looked like a real message in Sunday. Long message also. Somebody could have written a book. Tell them one of the most important things is communion with God. Means your own conversation with God. And the Baba will tell you, or I go tell you because I've been trained in Hinduism in a particular way, chanting Sanskrit, but that also is not needed. You sit down in front of your Murti Baba, or you sit down in front of your picture, just before you start your car, I had an uncle like that. That fellow also sing the whole Hanuman Chalisa. So when you sit down in the car, you know you have 5 minutes. He was sing the whole Hanuman Chalisa before you pull off. I yell. But there is something that you keep with him only. When you going down even in the car and you singing, whether you singing like Celine Dion or whoever, you singing like, when you singing bhajan, nobody you know. When you go in the shower and you breathing and you singing, sing is the lower key that voice only. Meaning, connection with God, the better way to use is communion with God, which gives you the inner conscious to feel something. If you are doing something, right, and one Baba complained to me about to one senior, he said that Baba, when he go to sit down, 45 minutes, he go sing, he go talk for half an hour. He's singing more than he talking. And I went to the Baba and I told him, say, Baba, yes, that is correct. And I say, you know why? Because I can't talk if I don't feel. You need to feel also. And what is going on here is that Shri Krishna continues to say, right? He says, I have bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacha Arjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam veda pantapa. He's saying, oh Arjuna, I have passed through many births and you have passed through many births. I'll be very honest with you, right? I sure, in my own case, I have at least one more birth. At least. Because the things I want to accomplish still. I still want to go in some of the villages in Africa and India and do some seva. When you see the amount of conversions of Hindus happening in these places, they're giving them a job and taking away the murti and they're taking away the sari and taking away the bhajan and they're giving them little Himan thing in English. And I'll tell you, right, and not because I'm Hindu only, but there's no religion in the world that accepts you for who you are as Hinduism. You could worship gods, Murti, no problem. You could not worship Murti, no problem. You could come Sunday morning service, no problem. You could not come, no problem. You can serve your parents, you don't need to come to the temple. All those things. You can believe in the Bhagavad Gita, okay. You can not believe in the Bhagavad Gita, only believe in the Ramayana, okay. This is the only religion in the world that gives you so much options. But whatever you want to do, whatever your decision also, you can refer to the scriptures itself. And you can have a close, there's no intermediary needed. Somebody may help you, they may guide you, but there's nobody needed for you to connect with God. That's the beauty of it. And what Shri Krishna continues to tell him, he says, I am giving you this knowledge because of 2 reasons. Because you are my devotee and you are my friend. So sometimes what happens is that it's difficult for us to think about God being up there and I have no relationship with God. But at least when you go to talk to God, have a plain conversation with God. Whatever may be the conversation, you talk to God like if you talk to somebody in front of you. And a relationship, all I know, at least the people my age and above, all I know, when they 14 and thing, all they had to talk about. So when they have a cell phone that time, we want to stand up and talking for hours. Because I know they're not talking this week and next month, they're not talking. You know anything about that kind of thing? You know anything about that kind of thing? Nah, you know, whatever. Right? But when it is that you're talking, you have to talk for a length of time to develop a relationship. Similarly, for you all right now in the home, most important thing, have a conversation with God. Whether you're happy, whether you're sad, whether you're mad, whether you're glad, whatever it may be, try to talk to God. And secondly, I said it also in the beginning, also remember family is a great strength. And I said also in the beginning, which I want to close with it, because I'll chant the name of God around for a little bit, I want to close with this. Even if you forget God and your family circle is strong, you can remember God. That's why so much emphasis has been placed by the elders on family and family relations and values and respecting elders. And lastly, we don't have one mother in Hinduism. The Bhagavad Gita is a mother. The Ramayana is a mother. The cow is a mother. Durga Ma is a mother. Parvati Ma is a mother. You have your aunts also. So please do take refuge in them also. And you have Panditji also as a guide on the side. He gives us a tap. Sometimes take it up, say thank you very much, and I'll think about it. That also is important. Sometimes we do also work out the path also. Many times also my uncle tells me things I didn't agree with. And he has died about 5 years now. And sometimes I do what he tells me not to do, and I come back and I watch it again and say, sorry boss. Even now. So if your mother tells you to do something, try to honor. There's much blessings to gain by following whatever your mother would have taught you. Because a mother really teaches you from unconditional love. Jaya Ram Sita Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Ram Sita Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. The auspiciousness of Lord Ram be behold. Mangala Bhavanaya Mangala Hari Dravavu Sudeshwarata Vijay Jaya Ram Sita Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Ram Siya Ram Hai Sab Jag Jani Prabhu Praman Jodi Jog Jaya Ram Sita Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya 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 Ram Bolo Ram 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 Jaya Ram Ram Bolo Ram Jaya Ram We'll chant Triambakam Vijayam 3 times, asking for that journey of that Jiva to be an auspicious one. And also for those who are here, may your life be long, and long in the context of your own life, and what that means for long life for you. I mean, the purpose of your life also be achieved. Once more, we thank when the furniture coming, he doesn't normally come out on a regular basis. I watch me, I only call other one I see him, I get shocked and I jump back out like that. I didn't expect to see him. It's good that thing. And as I said, the concept of family is very important. You're lucky to have somebody with great amount of experience, a tradition of experience of conduct in their family. And he will teach you what he knows according to. But you have to come and meet him to tell you as well, right? So please do keep him close to the family in this time and always also. I always say that a pundit in our village is one of the greatest blessings that you can have in your own in your own village also and in your own life as well. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandana Mrityodmukshiyamavrita. Take the image of the mother of the home for those who take care, those who know the mother of the home. Take the image, see the image of the mother of the home engulfed in a ball of light, and you're sending the energy of Lord Shiva to that Jiva. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandana Mrityodmukshiyamavrita. That you everybody here, may it be auspicious as well being in your own life, in your own journey. May your minds not be heavy, may it be light. May you always remember Mother of the Home as a being of light. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandana Mrityodmukshiyamavrita. Justify those in 1 minute and I pay frustration to the Guru, the ideal of the Guru, the one who has knowledge of the truth. May the knowledge of the Guru protect the home, protect your journeys. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. If you are Guru Mantra and you want to give you, to keep that Guru Mantra in your mind, you chant it while I sing it. Jaya Guru Deva, 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 Jaya Guru Deva. My Guru, I give frustrations. The your Guru, I give frustrations. Mama Guru Deva, Mama Guru Deva, Mama Guru Deva, Java Guru Deva, Java Guru Deva, Java Guru Deva, Java Guru. Jai Krishna Hare Shri Krishna Hare Dukiyo Guru Jai 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 Krishna Hare Jai Krishna Hare Shri Krishna Hare Dukiyo Guru Jai 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 Krishna सब चार और कोई न केवल हारा तेरे तू ही मेरा जय 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 कृष्ण जय कृष्ण श्री कृष्ण Jaya Guru Jaya 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 name Mother and Father, who's eternal Mother and Father of the universe. Thanks for giving life to the home, a light in the home, love to the home, a mother that cared and showed what unconditional love is. We stand in front of you and ask us to give us strength to deal with whatever that comes ahead. And we have great gratitude for the gift of having that mother. Tvameva Mata Chabita Tvameva Bhakta Jasita Tvameva Vidya Ramana Tvameva Sarva Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarva Gurudeva Deva Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Syama Rama Chandra Ki Jai Vastu Maya Ki Jai Shri Krishna Bihari Lal Ki Jai Shri Satya Sanatana Dharma Ki Jai Sab Koi Sita Ram Om Tat Sat Astu.
You probably thank Mamachari for tonight. Together with these two missions. Thank you, thank all of you again. Come to this night. And please give up particular refreshments at the table. All right. Thank you all very much.